製品版が出たのでやっていきます。
The poor schmuck was face down on the ground. Insects may breathe through holes, but this guy had way
昆
more
虫は
than
胴
he
体にある
needed.
器官から呼吸します。
Probably
なので
escaped from the
水に行くとき
hive.
はひっくり返るみたい
Was
で
he
す。
being chased,
アンダーグ
or
ロス
just
から学び
happened
ま
to
した。
be in the wrong neighborhood? Who knows? I'm a detective. Those are the questions I should be answering. But I knew there would be no answers in this case. In fact, there would be no case either. Simply because the victim was what he
あ、
was.
それから製品版ということでカラーにしています。 この
Really?
フクロウは元警
Thank
察
goodness
で
you
す
can
ね。
see in the
前作に
dark,
登場
old
していま
owl.
した。
Where would we be without you? By the way, what are you doing here? You don't work for us anymore.
This is the third time you called me back from
この
my
フクロウは分離主義者、
little
いわゆる
hole
動物は
boys.
種族ごと完全分離で済むべきというやや差別的な考えを持っています。
May the great wild ones
その代わ
protect
り、
us if
奥
we
さんが
sunk
クマという
this
主張と
low.
現実が一致しない点もあります。
Ooh, very funny. So, you want some facts?
Sure. Let's get started.
His name was Novak, according to his papers, but almost certainly an alias.
Pretty likely. Just another fugitive from the hive, huh?
Who knows?
All right. I'll snoop around a little. Then we'll talk.
I can't wait.
And no drinking on duty, okay?
On duty? Ha! I'm not a cop nor a doctor anymore. If you need me, make peace with how I work.
Oh, feathery heavens, Doc. Relax. I can see you're having a bad night.
Bad? Why, is there another kind?
Clucking furry hell. I don't need this.
早
I
速死
don't
骸
know
を
what
調べ
I'll
ます。
do with it, but since I've already picked it up, I might as well check it out.
ふむふむ、この世界の動物の手足は人間のそれと同じなのですが、虫人間の手足は人間とかなり異なるもののようです。
I expect your report by tomorrow morning, Doc.
Phew, I can report now. Cause of death? Shot dead 7 times. Probably with a 9mm semi-automatic pistol. Although that's not for me to say. That's for ballistics.
Those two dumb hyenas don't give a shit about this, and you know that. So, that's it? Case closed?
Honestly, I don't think they'll ever open a file on the poor bug to begin with.
Yeah, you got a point there, Doc. Well, I'm gonna take another look around. What's up with you nowadays, old owl?
Nothing much. I just exist.
Alone? Well, what about dear Nurse Ursula?
She moved on. She's with the Furies now, if you must know.
The Furies? You mean the,
The hooker gang. That's the one.
Oh, cluck.
出て
I'm
行ったんで
sorry
す
for
ね。
your loss.
Yeah, sonny boy. Life's a jerk.
And being an even bigger jerk can help a lot, huh?
As you say, sonny boy. As you say.
So, what next?
When you're done here, I'm going home. They'll let me know if they need a proper autopsy.
It's a clucking circus.
All the world's a circus, and all the men and women merely clowns. But we have to give the impression that we're on the case.
Maybe I'll talk to the boss about it.
Ooh, the hell you will.
Yeah, you're probably... So, what about the severed legs?
Are you bird-brained? Stop waving that thing around.
You're a coroner. You're used to this sort of thing, aren't you?
Everything has its time and place, boy.
Can you tell me anything useful about it or not?
The arms were carefully and individually plucked out, but only after death.
Ugh. You think so?
I'm sure of it. No sign of a struggle. Even his suit was barely wrinkled. Tearing off an insect's limbs isn't so easy. He would have struggled if he was still alive.
You could have been a detective, Doc. Not a good one, but a detective.
Thanks. I got enough misery of my own.
Well, I guess I won't see you at the station.
That's right. You won't. I'm only going there if they take me in handcuffs.
I can help with that.
Phew, I'm scared.
So, that's our cue?
Adieu, Mr. Novak. Or whatever your name is.
I didn't know you spoke insect.
Just a few words. I had a ladybug girlfriend before
こ
the
じれてこういう
hive
思
closed.
想を持ったのか、それとも理想と現実は別と思っているのかは気になりますね。
Oh, but it's such a juicy story. There's a lot of bang bang and some kiss in it.
Enough, okay?
Okay. Big stupid bird. I always hated you.
What did you say?
Who, me?
Not you, Marty. Bubo. Hey, what are you doing here?
Boss? Is there a problem? You look pale. Like all the color's just gone out of you. Although, now that I say that out loud, it's like the whole world has lost its color.
Oh, no. I'm not dreaming all this, am I? It's not a bloody clucking dream, is it?
You tell me, boss. You're the famous detective.
Oh, this is just a clucking nightmare.
Actually, this is more like a game.
Hey, don't ruin the whole thing.
Enough.
という夢落ちでした。あの小鳥が元奥さんですね。
That old case with Bubo. And then Marty's showing up. What the hell was that supposed to mean? Yeah, relax, old bird. You were dreaming. But she's not a dream. Who the heck is she? Oh, cluck. I've got a terrible headache. And even worse, deja vu. Well, I hope she's not hiding a revolver under that pretty little cloak of hers. Because if she is, I won't be able to stop her. Oh, cluck. Is my doorbell broken again?
I'm sorry. I had to sneak in unnoticed.
So you're the sneaky type, huh? I'll make a note of that. But feel free to sneak back out.
I can't do that.
Here we go again.
I need to make sure you're gonna help me.
Lady, listen. I don't even know who you are or what this is about.
Promise me.
Okay, I promise I'll listen to you. Just calm down.
Good. I believe you.
Splendid. Now, let's start at the beginning. You know I just installed the new lock on my door. How did you get in?
What do you mean, how? The door was wide open.
Is that so? Jeez. In that case, of course, make yourself at home. Do you always go through any open door you see?
I didn't intend to.
Look, ma'am, I can't stress this enough. I don't do private cases. I'm not your average gumshoe detective. Yeah, it's about time I wrote that on the door.
You have to understand, no one can help me but you. Only the chicken police. I heard about your last case, and...
You can't imagine how many times I've heard this, and I'm getting really tired of it.
All I'm asking is that you listen to me, nothing else. After that, if you still feel you're not interested, I'll leave and you'll never see me again.
Well, that's a bargain, but before we start, can I see your face? I don't like talking to dark silhouettes.
Oh, of course. Forgive me. And don't worry, I won't bite your head off.
That's your clucking luck, old bird. A woman from the darkest depths of the city. From the hive with love. If we're gonna start, let's start with a kick in the gut, right? Sure, why not?
虫の種族の服はたくさん種類ありそうですね。
come here for, someone like you.
Because I'm an insect? Yes, I know.
So what has brought you all the way from the hive, Miss,
Melandra Mantadea. And yes, I am indeed from the hive. I see that doesn't surprise you.
Let's just say we don't really see your people outside the hive these days, sweetheart.
You have no idea what it's like to live there.
I've been to the hive more than once, although I admit the last time wasn't yesterday.
Things are getting worse every day. But that's not why I'm here.
I guessed as much.
Well, I'm going to get to the point. My husband is missing.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. No offense, but have you looked at the local bars and joints? You know, most of the time...
No, you don't understand. He's dead.
You mean he's missing and declared dead?
No, he was already dead when he disappeared.
I'm afraid I'm losing the thread, and I haven't even picked it up yet. It must be my age. So, how was this again?
You might want to sit down for this.
Listen, sweetheart, let's not drag this out, because the curiosity is killing me. And my lower back, too.
というわけで、尋問開始です。消えた夫の死骸の謎を詳しく聞いてみましょう。前作でもあった要素ですね。
Upright gal. Breaking her certainly won't be easy, but maybe she'll open up to me if I approach her gently. Break or open. Either way could lead to success, as long as I don't fall flat on my face. Let's start at the beginning. With your husband.
Milo Masterson.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Masterson? You mean you didn't take your husband's name?
Don't get me wrong, I loved him very much. But in our family, women don't usually do that. It's our way of keeping more of our independence.
I get it.
ここは無難に、いつ亡くなったのかを聞きましょうか。
When exactly did your husband die?
A week and a half ago.
And when did you discover that his body was missing?
3 days ago.
And what's happened since then?
I tried to convince myself to come here.
I see you succeeded.
Lucky me.
You know, the last dame in distress who came to me ended up in a pretty bad way.
I'm not your typical shy housewife type, Mr. Featherland. I'll fight my own battles if I have to. But I'll also admit when I'm not up to the task.
Oh, that's a really useful quality. I envy you.
You don't often admit when you need help, do you?
You nailed it, sweet chops. But let's talk about you.
これはどうしましょうか。何か夫婦間に秘密があったとかでしょうか。
Did your husband have any, dirty secrets?
I dare say he had no secrets from me. He worked in a textile company, but that factory was converted. It became a fake meat processing plant. They wouldn't hire him back. He ended up doing all kinds of work to put food on our table.
All kinds of work? Tell me, was your husband involved in anything shady?
Never. No. I mean, no. He would rather have sold his legs on the black market.
Good gravy, is that still a thing?
If you come to the hive, you'll see. Every other insect is missing one or more limbs. Some people just don't have a choice, you know.
I was just dreaming about missing limbs. So, was your husband a real saint then?
You know he wasn't. But he always tried to do the right thing. He even worked for a local private investigator for a while.
Wait a minute. One of those, antlered guys? I mean, what do they call it? The stag beetle?
You know him?
Frank Half-Armed Castellini? Oh yeah, I know him. He was the only insect in the academy. Then, not long before the Segregation Act, he got fired from the force.
Milo helped him out for a while, all kinds of courier work. But he soon left him. He always said, Frankie's a troublemaker.
Well, I can back you up on that. So your husband tried everything, right? And still couldn't find his place in the world.
Please, don't be rude.
I'm just pecking around, and rudeness is part of my job. Why do I get the feeling that your husband was up to some monkey business? You're hiding something, babe.
Even the implication is offensive, Mr. Featherland. There's been no trouble. You know, he's always tried to stay out of it.
But?
He worked for a strange
これは
man
さっ
for
きと
a
同じ
while.
回答ですね。
Sort of private detective.
新商ゲージが追い込みの方に行ってしま
Why
いま
didn't
し
you
た
go
か。
to Frank instead of me?
This Frank was a strange, creepy guy. Scattered, dirty, like a bum.
I knew Frank a long time ago. He's a strange one, all right. But he's an exceptional detective.
I'm sure he is, Mr. Featherland, but I still wasn't happy about Milo hanging around him.
Afraid he'd be dragged into some murky business?
I was almost sure of it. I felt it in my antennae. I often sense things like that.
Is that why you came to me? You want me to look into Frank?
I want you to find out what happened to my husband's body. That's all I want. Nothing more, nothing less.
追い込みの方に傾いたんで、一番下の選択肢で追い込みをかけましょう。
Why are you doing this?
What do you mean?
Yes, your husband's body's important, but you're essentially on a suicide mission for a dead man.
Are you a jerk, or are you just testing me?
Maybe a little of both. Would you answer me anyway?
My husband's body is more than just a shell. And yes, I will die for this cause if I have to.
これは真ん中ですかね。何か隠している感じがしますし。
You still not saying anything? Why don't you just spit it out?
Believe me, Mr. Featherland, I try to answer your questions as directly and honestly as I can.
You're just trying to bait me. Something's wrong here.
You don't trust anyone, do you?
No, not even myself.
これも真ん中でいきますか。多分。
This is your last chance, lady. Tell me why exactly are you here?
All I've told you so far is not enough for you.
You dodge my questions like a circus performer. So, are you gonna spill the beans? Why are you here? What do you want from me? Why me?
Look, I think you're right. It's not fair to you.
I'm glad you've noticed.
Actually, Milo was insisting we leave the path of light and abandon our insect traditions. He even got me a job downtown in exchange for a favor.
A favor? To whom?
Some dark figure. I don't know his name, but he seemed very powerful from what I've heard.
So, a real heavy, huh?
I don't know what Milo did in return, but he got me the job. While he was working at the factory, I was secretary to an accountancy firm in Ratwell.
That's a long way from home.
That was before the Segregation Act. Back then, we were still pretty much free to move around Clawville. But that didn't last long. A month or two and the law was passed. Everything changed.
The doors of the Hive were closed.
And the rest is history.
As you say, Toots.
上ですかね。自信はないですが。
Give me one good reason why I should care about this.
Look, I can't pay you much, but...
It was never about the money. But I'm still a cop. I don't do...
You're saying you don't do private investigations? Not what I heard. Rumor is, when the Wessler Empire...
let's not dwell on the
レ
past.
スラーは前作の
This
メ
is
イ
a
ンの話
different
で
kind of
す。
case.
長くなりますが、大手のギャングを壊滅させたってのが大体の流れです。
Well, maybe. So you've been looking into this all on your own?
I had no choice. I searched the cemetery, but I didn't find a soul. There's an old bug working there. His name's Uncle Joe. Kind of a local legend. Almost everybody knows him. He didn't see anything. But he couldn't have seen much because he was drunk as a skunk.
I'm not even gonna ask if the police questioned him. Have others disappeared from the cemetery, or just your husband?
His was actually the third. And then 3 others went missing, as I heard.
You say 6 bodies are on the loose?
Don't put it that way. But yes, that's what I know.
And this, Uncle Joe fella. What else do I need to know about him?
When I talked to him, he was scared. I guess he was either beaten or threatened.
Well, thank you for answering my questions, Missy.
So, the interview, that was it?
You'd better not leave town. Stick around. It's the best thing to do.
So be it, Mr. Featherland.
You see? That's what I'm talking about.
赤点レベルの尋問でした。ここから先は体験版と同じなので、違うところまで飛ばします。
Here we are. Formerly known as Hop Dog, now called Zip's Cafe. Everything changes, huh? Zip, an ex-con raccoon, runs the place.
ゴミパンダ、
It's become
つまり
something
ア
of
ラ
a
イグマのこと
hangout
です
for
ね。
us. The last garrison between Clawville and the Hive, and maybe the last refuge of sanity. But more importantly, your last chance to get a good cup of joe. It's been a long time since we spoke to Zip. We haven't even visited the place since its reopening. Here's our chance to see what's changed. Zip will know what's going on around here. Time to say hello to the old trash panda. Hey, kid.
Here it is, the brand new Clawville Chronicle!
Yeah, we know. Tell me, do you stand here often?
I stand in a lot of places, sir. The news has to go everywhere. Here's the Clawville Chronicle!
Feathers, stop yelling, kid. Listen to me.
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Do you also take a newspaper to the Hive?
No, sir. I mean, not since the last time, sir.
Last time?
The last time I took a paper to the Hive, sir, an ugly fella made me eat it.
それはひど
All of
い
it. It was quite a lot, and hot off the press.
Made you eat it? What ugly fellow?
An ugly monkey, sir. I don't know what kind, but it was a monkey for sure. I should know. I'm always being taken for a monkey. Well, I'm not. Anyway, he was well-dressed, and one of his teeth was gold.
Golden Tooth, that's Mick.
I don't know, sir. He didn't say his name. He just told me to eat that filth. Luckily, I only had 5 papers on me, but he and his bodyguards watched me eat all of them.
What a mongrel.
Yes, sir. But then he let me go, so I don't mind. And I didn't eat anything that day anyway, so...
Were you welcome at the Hive back then?
Very much, sir. The insect folk were always kind to me. They were glad to finally hear from the outside world, you know. The Chronicle was the only Clawville paper that reached them. Thanks to Pip.
Pip?
That would be me, sir. Messy Pip, at your service.
I see. And tell me, Messy Pip, who do you work for?
The master of all papers, sir. Mr. Mullen, of course.
You mean Hercule Mullen?
The one and only, sir.
Huh, an old acquaintance. Tell me, where can we find him?
He's inside having a cup of coffee and talking to Uncle Zip.
Uncle Zip, huh? That's new. Okay, thanks, kid. Don't take any wooden nickels.
Well, well, well. The bite of death has appeared.
Good to see you too, Trash Panda.
Barkeep, your best coffee over here right away.
Oh, hey, you're here too. Hooray.
You see, nothing changes.
Only you're looking more and more like shit.
I missed you too, Fuzzball.
It's so nice to see old friends reunited, ain't it, boys?
Hey, Mullen, how's it going?
Still alive. No more, no less.
Sometimes that's all you need.
And what brings you to, oh, wait, let me guess. A coffee menu with double information and a good dose of personal opinion, huh?
Just a fact steak. Rare, no seasoning, maybe a little salt.
Well, you guys really don't change.
Maybe it's the fact that the world happens to be collapsing around us.
Well, at least we'll be here to see the end, huh? A restaurant at the end of the universe.
You boys really deserve each other. It's so uplifting to be around you.
Sorry, old man, you're absolutely right. So, 2 coffees, Zip, black and bitter.
Like your life, huh, sonny boy?
It's beyond repair.
Ain't that the truth?
Hey, Uncle Mullen, how you doing? You still in the newspaper business?
That's what somebody's got to deliver the news, lads. Unbiased, impartial.
Can you still do that?
Well, it's getting harder for sure, but let's not talk about an old beaver. How about you, me boys?
Marty got so drunk, Laura threw him out of the house.
Well, Sonny's mixed up in some shady business again, and he's trying to get us killed in the Hive.
Well, you two deserve each other.
Yeah, right? That's what I keep telling him.
But the Hive, now isn't that a dangerous place for cops these days? Since the Segregation Act and all.
We just have to take that risk.
I see you're in a heroic mood, sonny boy. Good.
The trembling voice of a damsel in distress can work wonders.
Ah, then I understand everything. Oh, that went so well the last time, did it not?
Shut up! What do you think of the Segregation Act?
What do I think? Ah, well, the law spits in the very face of what the whole city was supposed to stand
こ
for.
っちの世界のリベラルな動物みたいですね。
Coexistence, tolerance. You know the story.
So?
You know, boys. Clawville's been at war with Stavonia for centuries. A silent war.
A Cold War.
Cold War?
Yeah, because, you know, Stavonia's a cold...
Oh, yes, that's true.
But where do the Stavonians enter the picture?
What do you think the big peace negotiations are for?
I guess they got tired of war? Huh?
Even you're not that stupid, Martin, my son. Stavonia's perfectly happy with this whole scandal with the insects. If there are riots, even better. The peace talks are just a cover to put the enemy to sleep, so when the system completely rots from within...
Boom.
Yeah, boom! They can attack. The king is fighting internal strife. Half the city
現
is
実にも似たような
in
話はありますが、
flames, and no one will be
陰謀論っぽい
prepared
気が
for
し
an
ます。
invasion by an enemy we're supposed to be making peace with.
No, I don't know, Uncle.
A conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
Pluck me. It's clean as your snow white feathers, you big goose, and that's the problem.
Meaning?
It's so clear, so simple, so obvious that nobody wants to believe it.
人類は滅亡する
And
の
that's
動
going
物
to be
版。
our undoing.
So you think the king is being influenced from outside, and that's why he enacted the Segregation Act? And while he's distracted by the peace talks, they'll invade the city?
Exactly. See, you still got your bird brain in place, sonny boy.
Well, thanks for the warning, old beaver. I'm not even joking. You really got me cogitating.
Well, that's a big word coming from you.
How's it going round here, Zip?
Eh, nothing much. Times are tough, you know.
And the hive?
Suicidal tendencies, eh? I always
Don't be a goat, Zip.
your mother's a goat.
Get a room, you guys.
So what do you know about the power?
Yeah, well, there's been some major
Oh, yeah? Go on.
I'm just wondering,
Same old.
I'm running a business here, okay? And in a miserable place like this, a simple favor is worth more than a buck.
And you already know.
You always saw right.
Feathery gods.
So, it's about my tail.
What?
ジップの尻尾を見つけてほしいとのこ
Fucking
と。
hell.
Or two. Here it.
死体が消えると言われた墓場にやってきました。
Cold moonlight. Exhumed graves. Like in one of Marty's horror movies. But it was real. And you could see that whoever was behind the missing bodies would stop at nothing.
Sir? Are you...
Do I look like I'm okay, lad? But, wait. The hell... What kind of creatures are you?
Excuse me, sir. You're Uncle Joe, I presume. We're from the Clawville Police Department.
I can, but why should I?
Because we're asking nicely?
What? Ha! The police didn't give a shite about us. Now suddenly they want help. Just bugger off, will you?
Sir, we just...
Are you deaf, lad? Look around if you want, but don't bug me anymore. Fuck my head. Oh.
Sir, stay here, please. We might have some more questions.
Where the buzzing hell would I go, eh? We're in a graveyard at the end of the world. Crazy chickens.
Okay.
掘り返された墓の周辺に来ました。ふむふむ。こんな感じで続けましょう。これで終わりです。
Let's see.
Distant light. What does that mean? A brand, a place?
Let's ask the old man and see.
Excellent idea.
We found this piece of glass here. Can you...
The last time I saw it, it was part of a huge bottle I got it.
So they hit you with a bottle?
You must be some kind of super cop to put that picture together.
Oh, yeah, we put it together.
What do you want me to say? I got slammed, and when I woke up, 2 more graves had been robbed.
The attack...
You mean they were insects? Yeah.
And do you know who they were?
Oh, of course. While they were beating my head, we had...
Okay, I see. Well...
Oh, you're the detectives, aren't you?
顔は見てないとのこと。
Good point.
デ
Shut
ィスタン
up,
トライトは
Marty.
体験版で訪れたバーですね。ここで得られる情報はこんなことでしょうか。
What's up, mate?
というわけで、雲の女王の越景へ。
I see. Welcome, detectives. Shall we begin?
ここは見たんでざっくりとカット。それでは
The
尋
Queen
問パー
seems
ト
to
へ。
like us, but that may be a simple disguise. In any case, a veteran criminal like her is probably harder to break than to open with the right honeyed words. Boost her ego. That can be a solid tactic. But either playing the good or the bad cop, nothing is impossible if you ask the right questions in the right tone.
Be forewarned, detective. What you learn here may shake everything you've ever believed in.
You think I believe in anything? It seems your famous senses have failed you.
We'll see, Mr. Featherland. We'll see.
どれも選びたくない選択肢ですね。まあ、一番上が無難ですか？
Please tell us about yourself, Your Majesty. How did you become who you are?
You'd be surprised how little awareness there was in it. Things happened. Years flew by. And suddenly we found ourselves on this throne.
Lucky coincidences?
There are no coincidences, dear Inspector.
Right. We rarely hear that from the heads of criminal organizations, if I don't offend you.
What is right for someone, and in what situation, is subjective.
Isn't that convenient?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes the opposite.
Let's get to the point. Bodies are disappearing from the cemetery, and the clues have led us here. What do you think? Why?
You're not playing games. We appreciate that. Yes, in a way, we understand that some clues could have led you here. But those can be misleading.
You don't know about them, or you have nothing to do with them. Big difference.
There is a big difference. We've heard things. The Great Web is everywhere. And every little bit of information makes its threads twitch.
なんだか煙に巻かれた気がします。得られた情報を尋ねましょうか。一番下を。
Someone was hit with a bottle that had the name of this place on it. Is it a coincidence?
We don't believe in coincidences, Mr. Featherland. But that doesn't prove that the perpetrator was following our orders.
It's true. It could have been a simple bum or just an angry boozer. Am I right?
For example.
Still, something's bothering me.
What?
Why the mysterious phrasing? Why didn't you just say you didn't know anything about it? Plain and simple.
Because it wouldn't have been true, Mr. Featherland.
ここは信頼に寄せていきましょうか。
Let's say I believe you. Do you think the glass was not just a weapon, but also a message?
An interesting theory, and there may be some truth in it. As the place is well known and has been ours for decades, yes, we can see why you might think that.
So you agree that the clues lead logically here?
If it is a message, we did not send it. It would be foolish to leave a clue like that.
Well, forgive the assumption, but for a spider queen sitting in the middle of the great web, setting a trap seems quite apt.
If so, you would be in big trouble.
And is that the case?
No, not yet. I like you. You're sharp and respectful, most of the time. At least, for a chicken.
You're great at insulting and complimenting at the same time.
Thank you.
これはどうしましょうか。なぜ疑いをかけられるようなことをしているのに手を下さないのか、かな。
Suppose I believe that it wasn't you. Why didn't you take action against it?
You still think we're the feared and dreaded vigilantes of the Hive. Unfortunately, those days are over, Inspector.
But information is power, ain't it?
Indeed, it is. But much more so for a place that is not cut off from every other part of the world. We've been enclosed, Mr. Featherland. So the world is slowly but surely passing us by.
Unless you do something about it.
Yes, but that's another story. You know, the people of the Hive don't need the Great Web to express their feelings. Especially their anger.
A hive-sized rebellion, for example.
Of course, neither the city nor the crown wants that. In fact, we don't want it. But sadly, we are no longer the most powerful in the Hive.
いい感じですかね。
Okay, if it wasn't you, then who was it? Who has the reason and the power to do such a thing?
The Golden Fang clan is well entrenched in
ゴールデンファン
the
グはミックのことです。
Thanks in part to them, much of our business is no longer, how shall we say, profitable.
The clan, huh? I heard they've been pretty quiet lately.
The fact that a criminal organization doesn't openly blow things up doesn't mean they're not very present, as you well know, Mr. Featherland. And for all we know, you and your partner are very much responsible for the existence of the clan in the first place.
Really? Please, enlighten me.
If the Wessler Empire hadn't fallen, the smaller clans that then waged war for power would never have been born. Am I right?
The Wessler Empire, huh? That was an old case, Your Majesty. If we hadn't stopped that threat, we might have been in even bigger trouble.
Oh, you really think so? That it could be worse than this? The whole city was ravaged by gangs feuding over the remnants of the Wessler Empire. These gang wars have consumed all the attention of the Crown and the police, leaving nothing left for the Hive. One angry insect, fed up, committed an assassination attempt that eventually led to the Segregation Act. See, after all, it all started when the so-called chicken police put the head of the Wessler Empire on ice over some petty, little, private matter.
You know, that's kind of a loose and far-fetched hypothesis.
Oh, we haven't covered everything, but you know that in the big picture, we're perfectly right.
I'm beginning to feel like you're interrogating me and not the other way around.
Oh, please don't. We didn't mean to frighten you.
Then may I continue?
We are at your service.
So, it's the Golden Fang clan that's got you and your people in a tight spot. Am I right?
We're not saying they're responsible for the disappearances. But if it wasn't us, they seem the most likely choice.
I have to agree. Are you willing to talk about them?
To a certain extent, yes. As long as it doesn't harm our interests.
Okay, then let's continue the conversation in this vein.
ゴールデンファングのことについて聞きます。
What is the clan doing here? And why the Hive?
After the Segregation Act and the construction of the walls, this place was left alone. There is...
Aren't they afraid of the wrath of the Great Web?
They had nothing to fear. We spent all our energy on our people and on survival. We had no resources left to fight them.
No police, no enemies. Just a bunch of miserable, desperate insects.
As you say, Mr. Featherland. Mick and his vermin couldn't have found a better place to settle.
The city? What do you mean?
One of the most powerful gangs of Clawville is now in the Hive, beyond the sight of everyone there. The insects are suffering, and the city just sits back and allows it to happen.
These are extremely wild assumptions.
Are they really? Or dare you not admit to yourself what you suspected all along?
Please don't analyze me.
Trust your own instincts, Mr. Featherland. In the eyes of the city, the clan and the Hive are just two rabid dogs in a hole, tearing each other apart.
I have to think about that.
Take your time, detective.
ゴールデンファングが急速に勢力を拡大した理由にしましょうか。
You really do see everything. What do you think the clan is playing for? And where do they get their resources?
For the clan, hiding in the Hive was a great idea. But they cut themselves off from the rest of the city with it. So they must have connections or help from beyond the walls.
Another gang? Maybe they've teamed up with someone. The Black Scales. The Furies, maybe.
I don't think so, Mr. Featherland. All the criminal organizations in Clawville are different. But they all have one thing in common. They all want absolute power.
What are you implying? Who can support them from beyond the walls?
Whose interest do you think it would be to aid and abet the clan and get them here? Whose interest is it for the Hive to slowly bleed itself dry? For someone who has a problem with the very existence of it.
You mean...
Yes. Exactly, Mr. Featherland.
Sweet, furry, feathered heavens. You claim that the clan is funded
王
by
室
the
が巣箱壊滅のため
crown?
にギャングに資金提供していた可能性があるとのこと。
But the city government is currently benefiting from the fact that the Hive is getting on with its little infighting, instead of causing trouble on the big scale.
What does that have to do with the disappearance of a few bodies of ordinary citizens? Even if it's like you say, isn't that just more fuel for the fire?
It might be. Perhaps it's for a different purpose, Mr. Featherland. That detective, that private eye, who was working on this.
Private Eye?
Frank Castellini, or as many called him, half-armed Frank, which we always thought was funny, because he was only one arm short of 4.
Shit. Frank.
The fool was obsessed with pursuing Mick and the clan. He discovered something significant. Maybe he found out exactly where they were hiding. In any case, it certainly pissed off the monkey. Because Mick's got a big bounty on poor Frank's head.
That's bad. That's really bad. Thank you for telling me this.
We're surprised to say it ourselves. But we're glad we could help.
尋問の成績は60点くらいですかね。まあまあかなと。
See? That's
長
what
くな
I'm
りそうな
talking
ので、
about.
今回はここまでにいたしとうございます。ご視聴ありがとうございました。